let's look at the patch notes for Warframe. So, I haven't played Warframe actively in, wow, long time. But I have kind of vaguely kept up with it. Vaguely. I would be pretty much consistently there every single dev stream religiously for the last, Warframe's at this point 10 years. So for the first 7 years. And it's just become recent that I'm like, I can't be bothered. Hold on, my phone just went off. Okay. Never mind. Bring my face back. Thank you. Hello, train! So, if the train will let me speak, so let's give it a moment. Knowing that yesterday was Warframe's big release date for this update, I decided to go kind of take a peek at it. And after reviewing it and reading some of it, it's kind of up in the air. It's one of those things where it's more quality of life, which is always welcome for the game, but it's also one of those things where they provided very little. Like, that is a criticism I say as a player who's put 7 years religiously into this game. So, let's kind of go over some of this. I'm glazing over some of it. I haven't really played in full extent much of this, given the fact that I had very limited time yesterday between family responsibilities and preparing for a concert. So I will be kind of looking at this lightly over the next few days. So, Warframe. They added a new extraction node for syndicates, which is great. Syndicates are extremely ignored and abandoned. But it's one of those things where I don't care about. It's tucked away in the side of a corner, so it provides very little value. And it has a little bit of a gimmicky nuance, but again, it's tucked away in a corner, provides little to no value. Steel Path. That's cool, but Steel Path is punishing grind that it is extremely enjoyable if you know what you're doing and if you've already exploited the game to hell and back. So for the common player, this is just frustration more than anything. It is interesting that they added a new zone and it does have Steel Path integrated. They added a new resource that can only be gotten from those mission types. There's the caveat. Hey, you want to play this new content? No? Well, too bad, because if you want the new content, you have to go forcefully play the new content we just implemented. Like, we have enough materials as is already. Adding more just complicates this and makes this more mindless chore work. And it is extremely frustrating. Like, it's, as a veteran player, I don't have much of a reason to go back. Like, it is frustrating to say that. Like, it's depressing, honestly. Dagath, or Dagath, basically the headless, the faceless horseman at this point. She's cool, but I can care less. There's enough Warframes in there that there's good variety. Adding more is always good, but when you start kind of looking at things fundamentally, and even experiment with game engines like I have, you can see where the code has been borrowed from. So, a lot of the code seems to be borrowed from other Warframes or other features from other attacks and stuff. Anytime they do something, uniquely new, it's extremely gimmicky and doesn't really add much. In regards to Dagath, you do have, let's see, Wired Scythes, Doom, Grave Spirit, Rakali's Cavalry. And you're looking at, let's see, Scythes surround Dagath and seek out nearby enemies. Those struck are slowed and suffer viral damage with a guaranteed status effect. The Scythes also spread Doom and extend its duration. Surround Dagath and seek out enemies. That is Baruch. That is the same code used for Baruch for his little, daggers, the little things that disarm enemies. It's effectively the same code, but it is being done a little bit differently. At that point, you can see recycling code. Doom. Condemn nearby enemies to their doom. Ah, that's so creative. Like, I get it. They're very punny. They try to be cute and charming with some of this, but I've moved past it. A portion of the initial damage Dagath deals is revisited upon them by a ward scythe. They also suffer viral damage. What? Condemns nearby enemies to their doom. Okay. The fuck does that mean? A portion of the initial damage that the frame does is revisited upon them by a wire strike. It's like this thing does something to it. It's what? Grave Spirit. Supercharged Dagath's weapon with extra crit damage. Clearly, we need more crit damage. Like, the effects are doubled on doomed enemies, escape fatal blows by briefly assuming a spectral form. So this is pretty much, hey, here's a get out of jail free card if you take too much damage, because it puts you in spectral form. That's nice. Survivability. But at the same time, you apply a debuff to the enemy, then you get supercharged crit damage, and then you do double damage to the enemies that have been applied the debuff. And, like, yes, synergy, great, cool. We already have frames that do this. You just change the theme to look kind of Grim Reaper-y. And we already have a Grim Reaper, technically. We have the Necromancer, we have Necros. So it's like, we have a second Grim Reaper. I get it, it's more of a Dullahan. And Dullahans are, what, guides of the dead? Like, they're supposed to be horsemen out to go collect wandering spirits or kind of guide them to the afterlife. Dullahans, basically. I don't remember exactly what it is, but Dullahans do reap souls. Which, I get it, it's another Reaper. And then we have Kali's Cavalry. Phantom Caves, which are the horses, charge forth, inflicting viral damage upon all in their path. Their attacks strip the defense of doomed enemies. So, effectively, it's an ice wave, like not Necros, like Frost, or it's just a radial blast. It's a cone attack that just fires in either a straight line or a cone in front of you, just charging horses, which are just fancy effects to it, and you do viral damage. It, again, recycled sections of code. They just changed the UI, or not the UIs, the effects. So instead of seeing whatever particles or elemental attributes or other, Warframe specific visuals, just put horses. Make horses go meh, and they do viral damage. I'm not interested. Like, nothing this frame does, aside from the aesthetic, is interesting. In the little bit I was playing yesterday, I bumped into two of them in the relays, and I'm like, cool, but their idol summons a horse constantly, and I'm like, that's getting irritating. I'm not using that idol, that's for sure. But, And what's the passive? There's a 35% chance that energy and health orbs will be 300% more effective on... A 35% chance that they're going to be 300% effective? You pick up so many energy orbs and health orbs that it's stupid. Like, it's nonsensical. Okay. I read that. That's interesting. Ranting and raving about the Warframe update. Like, I'm like, I need to kind of document this, because there's nothing interesting came out from this. The Warframe is not that cool. We got, God damn. We got Grendel Prime. Fat Man looks great. I'll say that. Fat Man looks great. After his rework, he's been mad fun to play with. So his Prime, I'm interested a little bit. And then some really cool cosmetics. It's like, whatever. Bunch of little passes. More market stuff, which is always, the lifeblood of the game. Void Shell, I like that. I like that a lot. More cosmetics, blah, blah, blah. The Vampire Lotus is back, but that's about it. Uh, cosmetics, cosmetics, cosmetics. And then system changes and quality of life. This is the thing that frustrated me the most. Like, yes, shields are a problem. Let's buff them. Cool. Shields are twice as effective. 25% damage reduction to all 25% damage reduction to all effects. Now is 50%. Great. That's great. But did you address the problem? Oh, we're working shield gating because, people were exploiting it. Oh, cool. How did you fix it? We kind of lowered your times, but the more shields you have, the more time you have. Effectively, the problem is still there, but you just kind of made it a little bit more nuancy. After playing just a little bit, I think I'd rather take the half second so I can get away, regen, and then come back for another half second so I can get away. Because 2.5 seconds, it's nice, but so much happens. You have something that counteracts it, like, oh, we fixed a problem, and then made it slightly awkward and a little bit more so we're going to add a mod that just kind of, helps alleviate the problem we've now created. Like, game development keeps doing this. Like, it's nice, but, like, it's not easy. Like, finding an answer to the exploitation of Shieldgate is a nightmare. But without it, then we have a bigger problem. The game is just unreasonable. But let's, make it a little bit more worthwhile to have more shields, but also punish people for, gaming the system. But it's not really going to be too much of a punishment. It's going to be more inconvenience, so it's more obnoxious. And reward people for doing this, but the reward isn't that fruitful. And then we're going to add a band-aid to it. It's like, bruh. Then we have blah, blah, blah. A bunch of things that were affected when it comes to shields. Damage. The calculations of stuff. This is the thing that frustrated me the most. We have things like this. Vitality. 440% vitality. That's the before. It's been modified. Now it does this. It's 100%. You think that it would be a nerf. But then you have that all the way over there. Where my hand can track. Come on, where's my other hand? Oh, over there. All the way over there. The numbers are the same. So, on the cards, we've nerfed all of it. We have done the thing that no one wanted done by making our overpowered, ridiculously, roided up mods into actual reasonable doublers, which is now 100%, which is double your stats. But we change absolutely nothing. This needs to stop. When I saw this, I'm like, oh, they've completely, nuked the ceiling. The ceiling in the game was so high, it was so high, that they nuked it and brought it down. I thought that if they brought it down, they would, kill the game in some regard, but it'd be a good killing. It's one of those things where this is a problem that they've made that they need fixed. They fixed it, but they haven't changed anything. Because they went back and then changed all the background numbers to maintain the numbers that were already causing problems. The game is already difficult and unreasonable. You have such high numbers in the millions, 100 millions even, and you're not addressing that. Lower the numbers, kind of stabilize and equalize the gameplay, and then actually do something with your AI. Because making this work like a JRPG with those, billions, trillions, decillion or unidecillion numbers, they're so large and unquantifiable, they have to kind of make things up to represent them. Just to do damage is not fun. I enjoyed Warframe more when we were stripped of the things in the game. Actually play an actual shooter. I get it, power fantasy. But guess what? I can still have a power fantasy playing Halo. We don't need these mega inflated numbers in order to have a power fantasy. We can still do that with reasonable design and damage numbers and gameplay loops. Having to do like 7,500,000 damage in order to even kill one enemy, it's nonsensical. Like, it really is just inflated. I was having fun yesterday, but that's because I was playing by myself and playing it like a shooter. Then I go online and it's spam. It's not enjoyable. And here's an example of what they changed. Just look at Ash. Base stats are now 450 from 150 at rank 0. And then at rank 30, it used to be 450, now it's 555. They buffed them. A lot of these characters got buffed. And technically some others just got a small little like nerfing, but it's like by a few points. But universally, this all got buffed. Like, they just made those numbers bigger. And the same thing goes for the Necromex, and the same thing goes for Arcwing. The mods are a lot easier to read now. You know exactly what it's doing. You can predict the math of what it's doing, compared to, getting these over 100 numbers and trying to understand that. It's a lot. Focus. Higher multipliers. Cool. I can max out my daily that much faster. It wasn't hard to max out my daily at mastery like 29. No, I'm mastery 30 now at this point. Yeah. Like, I'm mastery 30. Like, you can cap out your daily limit on focus so easy. But now we're just going to make it that much easier. And then you're stuck doing nothing. That whole system needs to be looked at completely. A lot of these systems need to be looked at completely. Nightwing changes. Nightwave changes, my bad. Nightwing. No, Batman's not here. Nightwave changes. Cool. More missions. That's all that is. Added more variety to the tasks, the chore list, make it a little bit more diverse, make some of these things a lot easier and a lot more reasonable. Because there's a example here, which is ridiculous. You may need to do a single instance of the task to trigger completion, i.e., if you had 10 of 20 enemies killed while sliding for the accelerate act prior to this update, you'd have to kill one more enemy while sliding for it to be marked as complete. I don't know. There was one example they used that was about, like, stealth or something. Whatever. New UI, cool, more clarity. That's about it. Breaking armor, haven't done those things. Call garrison, that's actually fun, because guess what? You're nerfed. Damage is equalized, gameplay's equalized. It's actually like a controlled experience. So that's actually fun. Archon Hunt, again, mega million numbers, just not really that much fun. The rewards are nice, but it's not that fun. Increase the maximum damage cap, blah blah. Improve the new player experience. Yes, please. I've constantly kind of keep looking at where new players are playing the game. It's never been very cohesive. Add more cohesion, and this is effectively doing that. Funny thing enough, they removed the flawed mods, which were one of the most confusing things, but one of the biggest band-aids to the core mod issue, where you had essential mods that you could not play without. This added a way of temporarily filling that gap, but it was not very effective and it caused more confusion. adjust some of the drains, early level inbox adjustments, junctions, universal enemy radar. That's great. It just kind of makes sense that, you know, all of our future tech should have just universal radars. We don't need, like, a pet. My dog can do radar. The fuck? You're gonna tell a new player, how do I get a radar? Just get a dog. He'll sniff them out. And make them pop up in your radar. By the way, I was holding a drink. Wave Rider! Oh my god. The Tony Hawk Pro Skater version of Warframe. It's cool, but these missions were just so obnoxious. Change it. Flatline it. Make it easy. Make it simple. Now you can do everything really, really quickly. Great. Cool. You're not punishing us by having a stupid little minigame that was a gimmick, enjoyable joke, at best, that you tried implementing to the core game. That's like making a Warframe that's hidden behind Lunaru. No. Not happening. What was it? Vox Solaris. Make it a little bit easier for new players. Kind of lower some of the ceiling requirements, some of the tasks, some of the responsibilities. Just optimize a lot of numbers there for new players. Just simplified, honestly. Nata! Haha! The big important quest. Yeah, just lower everything. You still have to get to a certain place in the game that's, you know, several days in. But we're just going to lower these numbers for some inexplicable reason. If you're at Saturn, having a mastery of 3 isn't that hard. Like, sell your weapons. No, correction. Max out your weapons to 30. Sell your weapons, because you've already completed the mastery. Get a new weapon. Fill that to 30. Sell that weapon. Get a new weapon. Repeat the cycle. You don't need many slots. You can do this on a free account. And it's not that hard. Just keep trading up. Oh, but I like that one weapon back there, and apparently that was a meta weapon. Okay. Sell that weapon, go back, get it, farm it, bring it back up, and just cycle your other slot. Have one meta weapon at a time until you're pretty much done, and you just keep meta weapons until you can go, you know, trading for plat. Trade Warframe parts, trade prime parts, weapon parts. Plat is not that hard to get in the game if you know where to look. The premium economy is self-sustaining, and you can easily get a lot of the premium items without putting a penny. Assassination targets! Whoa! Just the bosses have less immunity shields. That's about it. And just clean up a little bit of UI. Cetus Wisps and Necromech acquisitions made the super unique, grindy aspect of the game that are crutches in progression a lot more obtainable. Effectively, Cetus Wisps do not despawn. That's about it. And Necromechs now can be bought from Lloyd. Remove the RNG there. Yeah, that should have been there from the beginning. Thank you. I never got a Necromech because of the amount of grind and high level difficulty some of the missions were. I can't solo them. And then doing it with randoms, they are so scatterbrained. You're dying because someone's dragging everyone through the mud. The damage is too high for 4 players. And you're trying to carry an entire team of 4. Because you're doing the highest damage. Oh, but you get your friends. Most of my friends have jumped off ship. It's not happening anymore. So, that's nice. Especially for a lot of solo players. There's a lot of people that play this game solo. And it's actually a lot more enjoyable. Until you're forced to do co-op. I know, I'm mega nerding over this. Like, this is a big update that has some implications, but at the same time has done nothing. And I just kind of want to get my 2 cents out there. I used to do news recaps on this. So it's like screw it, I'm doing this. Like, this is a game I still care greatly about. It's just not growing. And if it is growing, it's growing in the weirdest, like, areas. The game is dead on Twitch. Unless you're watching the developers from Primetime or the dev streams or some other community event, people don't want to watch Warframe on Twitch. They watch their favorite creators, or they watch the developers. The audience for this game doesn't exist on Twitch. Oh, then go to YouTube. Live streaming on YouTube is even worse, even though the demographic is bigger. Scripted content over there for this game does better, but you have to be creating very specific niche content. And it's either a review in a specific, over the top, blown out way, which are great for those creators. But you're reviewing something that at the end it's like, weapon go burr. Cool. Here's how you break the weapon. Cool. I have 7 years on the game. Give me a brand new gun that just came out yesterday. I'll break it in about 4 hours. Just let me find where the gimmick is, and it's pretty much done. So, a lot of, it's not my type of content. I get it. For newer players, yeah, sure. But that's about it over there. It's either fashion, styles, how to make Warframes look like they have boobies using a sigil, and just, spice them up. Get creative with these other things, which is always great. The community creativity is always great to see. But it's not very engaging content that I'm like, hey, let me go back and actually watch these things. It's like very specific. It's just unfortunately not for me. So it's, preaching to the choir. Accessibility. Oh, these are great little changes though. Highlights. There's so much chaos going on, you can't tell friend from foe sometimes. Some people have the name tags turned off, so you can't see, me running around and then on the top of my head saying, Dark freaking. Oh, there goes Dark. And there goes Dark. Because they have name tags off. This kind of helps. You can see that your color and their color, your outlines are going to be perfectly fine. Oh, what if you're colorblind? They have a... Where was it? I think it was back up there, actually. They have a customization. So if you're colorblind, they do have colorblind support. They have been very open and very supportive with accessibility, which is very nice, honestly. So the amount of customizability when it comes to color blindness and, just a bunch of those little nuances, really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Not just that, you can turn off enemy highlights and make only friendlies highlighted, or vice versa. So it is very customizable to someone's experience, because that to me is too much. Might turn on friendlies only, but that's about it. Conservation for the animal tracking stuff. Make it a lot interesting. Where was it? There. It's the map. Jesus Christ. Added a bunch of little UI to it. You can click on the little UI. It'll ping the map. And then you see the ping. And then you can just go straight there. It's an easy way to circumvent and find a lot of this. So you're not stuck kind of like having to track it down yourself. Simplified some of the nuance of that stuff. Finally, after how many years? Debuffs and buffs now have tooltip information in the pause menu. How many years of what the hell is that symbol? What does that mean? What is giving me this buff? Wait, what? I saw the word. What is empower? What is that? Why does it keep popping up every few seconds? I don't know. Well, I looked it up. I do know. I looked it up several years ago. But still, it's like, okay, let's finally do that. Okay, that's cool. That's nice. How many years? Too many. New update screen. You can always go back and review what was new in the update. That's fine. You can see what the last milestone update was. Kind of, new playery. What is this? Where to find the menu? Oh yeah, like just right here or right there. You know. Why are you such a meanie head? Because I love this game. That's why. I've played this game for 7 years religiously. For the last 3 years, I jumped off, and it's just had me so disengaged. And part of me is very upset. Like, I want to play this game. I want to enjoy it. But it became such a chore, and it became so disinteresting. Like, it was borderline depressing. So, I'm hard on it because I care. I want to go back to this game. I want to enjoy this game. But it's kind of hard to go back and enjoy it when you're just like, Yeah, there's new story update, but just to get to some of those story missions or just to get to some of those side quests for the Warframes, see some of that new content, it's a chore. And it's not even a fun chore anymore. So it's like, why bother? This one, the little transformative evolving weapons. You can now change the settings on your ship. You don't have to go back to Calervo. Cavalero? The person. You don't have to go back to the person to do this. You can change it on your ship. That's cool. Railjack, I just stopped caring about that. Like, I have crew and that's it. They do their job. They get it done. Companions. Oh my god, this was the biggest one. Your companions don't die. Technically. You don't lose your companion and then it's gone for the rest of the mission. You're doing a 3-hour mission? Oh, what? Your little robot dude that's like floating over your shoulder died 5 minutes in? Well, too bad. For the next 2 hours and 55 minutes, you have no means of doing any of the things that little thing did, which are incredibly, useful for the game. Oh, wait, you're going to get the pets? Like the cat and dog? Because you can revive those? Oh, yeah, okay, that's cool. They're going to be going down every 5 seconds. And then they're going to die and just never come back. Same way, like the little robots. Until you leave the mission and finish it. Oh, you have the new one? The little infested one? The one that self-revives? Cool! We're still going to see it dying every 20 seconds, and then people are not reviving it because they know it's going to self-revive. So we're just going to give it goofy names like, your mama is down. Hold X to revive your mama. Or, you have died. It's like, I'm still alive. Like, these funny generic messages, they were funny. They were funny, I will say that. But they were so consistent that you just ignore them. It was overwhelming. But a lot of good changes here. I actually liked a lot of the things they did. Cleaned up some of the language. And yeah, now I can actually get something that isn't my robo-dog. My two-legged little robot turret. My dog, my cat. Or my infested dog. Or my infested cat. So I can actually use an actual little sentinel again. So that's cool. Changed a lot of the wording. Bit more quality of life. And then Hydroid, Pirate Man, Mr. Chennicles. Haha. He got reworked. I played it. He's stronger. A lot stronger. A lot more enjoyable. But it didn't really matter. Like, cool. Like, I don't have to hold number 1 for, the bombardment of water to be strong. I can just press it and it's here. It's like, fire the cannons! Blah! I don't have to hold 1 anymore. That's cool. Max damage immediately. Okay, remove that kind of gimmicky stuff. That's fine. All of his water attacks now do corrosive. Because, water, it's just acidic at this point. His tidal surge. basically his little rush forward charge as water. Basically his his water rhino charge, his watery charge, whatever. Instead of dragging and flingshotting the enemies at Mach 20, they just kind of fling with you and just drop right next to you. That's nice. That's actually nice. Changed a lot of the back end with it. Yeah. The biggest offender, they removed Undertow. They removed puddle mode. I can't be a big sopping puddle anymore and just be, on the ground as a puddle of water and then see an enemy and then click and then get a tentacle and just go hua and whip them and just go whoo straight into my puddle. I can't be Mr. I am the Kraken. I'm going to drag you in. Come here. I can't do that anymore. Instead, I just get a massive, here's this, boom. Everyone's hit by my water. Oh, my God. Yeah. I can do mega damage to you. Ah. That was just a filler. They could have looked and tried doing something new. This is just a buff. A self-implied buff. It's here, plunder. All targets within range have corrosive status effects removed. Wait. All enemies in range will have corrosive status effects removed their armor permanently. So it applies corrosive and removes all of their armor. Increase Hydroid's armor and grants bonus corrosive damage to his weapons. So no armor for anyone, but I get more armor and I get more corrosive damage. Yeah, that's all it did. Okay, cool. And then change the Undertow here to Plunder. Rousing Plunder, and it causes Plunder to heal Hydroid and his allies in affinity range. It's now just a radial heal. Sure, remove more functionality from the healing Warframe. Trinity has less of a rhyme and reason. More and more and more. Because everyone can heal at this point. I get it. Curative Undertow. Just stand in his puddle and you heal. Cool. But now it's I can run behind my friends and heal them. Tentacle Swarm. Just made stronger tentacles. Better tentacles, technically. Before, the tentacle would pick you up and just fling you. Whip you around. Wee. Now it just picks you up and holds you. It's hey, look. I'm holding him. Shoot him with the pew. It's converted armor from the kid to the adult. Added DualShock 4 controller support. So go there and then do this. Change that. Explosive barrel changes. Didn't really care about that. And then just general add-ons and changes. And then a hotfix. Oh, wait, no, that was the red text when the update dropped. But no. All in all, I'm not impressed. Yes, some nice little things that the game has needed for years. But it's not enough that, as an old veteran player, I can care about. Some of these changes are targeted to my group of kind of Warframe players, which are the older players, the high tier players, or some of the just older players. But a lot of things are for new players. New players that... Oh. Hold on. Nope, don't know that number. New players that either are not going to spend money on the game, or they're just going to pick up the game for a little bit and not care. Meanwhile, you have the veterans players that have, put hours, months, years into this game, have dropped hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and they want to continue supporting the game, but they're not being given a reason to do it anymore. Which is why a lot of the older creators have walked out. And it's very sad to see. I might come back and give it another little shot here or there, but I'm telling you, it's going to be solo by myself and seeing if I can do some of the content. Because if I play online, it's just going to be noise and just spam, and I'm not participating anymore. Like, I don't have to actively put in effort to kill anything. I don't have to put effort to survive in some cases. And it becomes just, I'm walking, shooting and killing everything, but I'm not putting in an effort. I'm having more fun just jumping around like a lunatic. Like being like, ooh, look at me, hardcore ninja. Wah. But that's about it. So I kind of hope to see that at least the next update on Warframe has some more meaning. Because it's still heading in the right direction. And this is Rebecca's doing. It's addressing a lot of fundamental issues, but that's about it. So I'll see what happens next with Warframe. So aside from that, I'm done on that topic.